So good afternoon, everyone. I will be sharing my screen now, and so that we can commence this session without further delay. Okay, so I want to welcome every one of us to this bioinformatics and big data analysis training, which we are commencing today, the 22nd day of April 2024. I know we've been waiting for this section to commence to start, and today the day is finally here. Without wasting time, quickly, I'd like to introduce myself and go on to lay the background for what we would be expecting in this 5 days workshop, and ultimately get to hand us over to the facilitator, co-facilitator for today, who will also be sharing one or two things about the thematic topic for the opening live section. So my name is Adekunle Adeluwoye. I'm the program director for OmicsLogic Africa and UREKA, and I'm a faculty with Leeds City University here in Nigeria. During the course of this program, we would be going in, from the very rudiments, the very basics of bioinformatics, ultimately to being able to become an expert that would be applying these skill sets in our own personal research. To lay background to that, I'd like to speak to the big data challenges and opportunities. Over the past 20 years, there has been a phenomenal growth in the adoption of high throughput technologies such as next generation sequencing in research, biotechnology, and clinical practice. These technologies they produce an exponential growth of publicly available data sets, usually omics data, across the various aspects of the omics sciences. And this trend has produced a big data problem that precludes many of us biologists and clinicians from gleaning the knowledge from this data regarding the nature of disease processes and relationship between clinical phenotypes and their molecular drivers. And so this is what necessitated the putting together of this training. It is on that premise that the UREKA and OmicsLogic Africa team, with the permissions and backings of our OmicsLogic International Office, put together this 4 months bioinformatics learning and research mentoring program that is commencing from today, the 22nd of April 2004, and would be lasting up until 9th of August 2024. This program is a 3-phased program and designed to take participants from beginner to expert level with a focus learning bioinformatics training that will end up in some form of research presentations and publications. I'd like to state at this point, you need not be afraid if you are new to bioinformatics. Just apply yourself to the teachings and the learnings during the various phases of this training, the resources we will be making available so that we can maximize the next 4 months journey together and come out as an expert presenting our own research work with bioinformatics analysis. Quickly, like I mentioned, this program will commence with the bioinformatics introductory workshop, which is the phase 1 of this training, and is scheduled for 22nd to 26th of April 2024, 2 p.m. West African time, which we are underway currently partaking in, and we'll be providing online coursework, support systems, and mentor guidance for all participants who are part of this introductory workshop. Of course, to set the pace for the week, during today's opening live session, our facilitator, who will be coming up soon, will be speaking to us on expanding research projects horizon with bioinformatics, presenting your data section. But quickly, I'd like to speak a little bit further on UREKA and OmicsLogic. Our mission at UREKA is to deliver powerful computation and big data analysis tools specifically tailored for research and biotech sectors, tackling unique industry challenges. With this, we hope to transform science and biotech landscapes by harnessing advanced data science to enhance our approach to critical agricultural and biological questions. We hope to lead the integration of state-of-the-art data science in unraveling complex cancer mechanisms, tackling infectious diseases, advancing immunology, and refining precision medicine, as a whole. Of course, we also intend to offer an innovative big data machine learning platform that is focused on biomedical and molecular data, facilitating the development of personalized treatment and diagnostics for cancer and infectious diseases. So our vision in a nutshell is to foster improvements in human health and quality of life by empowering biological research and discovery through targeted data, innovative solutions, as well as comprehensive training. And this training currently ongoing is one of such means through which we aim to achieve our aim. However, I would like to speak largely to the OmicsLogic program goals. We seek to achieve the following goals set out for the OmicsLogic program, which includes to provide training in bioinformatics, enabling independent research that is guided by mentors and peer examples, as we would be seeing in the course of the various courseworks we will be exposed to during the course of this workshop and the subsequent phases of this training. Equally, the goal of OmicsLogic is to develop a growing community with shared passion for data-driven research and appreciation of citizen science. Likewise, we want to enable students, clinicians, and faculty, industry players of all backgrounds to develop novel and independent research using latest technology in life and data sciences. Of course, over the course of the past several years, the OmicsLogic team has been collaborating with a number of academic institutions around the world, most of whom have participated in content evaluation, curriculum review, and project designs. And as a result, the OmicsLogic programs have been thoroughly evaluated and are known to lead to excellent outcomes. Importantly, the programs are designed to support students with minimal bioinformatics background, including biological and biomedical students, majors and faculty interested bioinformatics research work and projects. So in summary, OmicsLogic is designed to help participants gain the essential skill sets needed to move from merely generating data sets to gleaning insights and adequately, translating the output of their research to benefit mankind. At this junction, permit me to acknowledge the great effort and roles of the team behind the UREKA and OmicsLogic African programs, as a microcosm of the larger OmicsLogic team. And this team are responsible for bringing this training to participants across Africa and beyond. So once again, I want to welcome us all to this opening live session of this 5 days long free basic bioinformatics introductory workshop, which serves as the phase 1 part of the 4 months long training that will culminate in research presentations and publications for those desiring to get to that stage. Without wasting time, before we move on, as a reminder, I'd like to mention of the need for us to, all participants, to register on the omicslogic.com platform, which is our learning platform. I'll kindly request, other team members on this call, on this presentation, to kindly drop the link so that participants who are yet to register on the learning platform should proceed to do that without delay, possibly immediately after this section. And like I said earlier on, this online program, which commences today, is a 5 days online training workshop, and it will cover some of the important technologies that borders on bioinformatics and its application in today's world. The participants will be able to access bioinformatics resources, complete some introductory courses on our OmicsLogic platform, along with expert and mentor support to get the entire workshop, to make the entire workshop an immersive one for all participants. So without wasting time, I would like us to go to the topic of discourse for today. That's for this opening live session, which is expanding your research project's horizon using bioinformatics, presenting your data. And to do justice to this topic is our facilitator for the session, Dr. Ayanfeoluwa Alabetutu. I want to believe he's ready and able to take over from here. Dr. Ayanfeoluwa, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm ready when you're ready.
Okay, so go ahead, sir.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, I can hear you.
Loud and clear.
All right. That's great. That's great. So I love to just speak a little about myself. My name is Ayanfeoluwa Alabetutu. I'm a researcher, a molecular geneticist, and a bioinformatician. I'm a faculty with the Federal Research Center of Translational Medicine. I work with the Research Institute of Virology in Siberia, Russia. I also double as a mentor, bioinformatics mentor, and a community engagement manager in OmicsLogic Africa. So it's so lovely to be here, colleagues. At this point, I'd love to go forward so that we can talk about today's topic, expanding research projects, horizons with bioinformatics, unlocking the power of innovation. I would love to shed light on the topic that actually resonates with the very essence of scientific exploration, expanding research projects horizon with bioinformatics. In a world where data rules supreme, the integration of biology, computer science, and data analytics has enabled us to dive deeper into the mysteries of life and unlock the true potentials of our research endeavor. So we understand that bioinformatics actually stands as a pivotal intersection where the vast swatches of biological data ranging from genetics, ranging from genomic sequences to structures, where they find meaning through advanced computational analysis. So it provides us with a lens through which we can peer into the intricate mechanisms of the living systems, and where we can unravel the complexities that underpin their existence. It seems like I'm speaking some big English here. I was going to speak to the fact that bioinformatics is not bioinformatics until we have an integration of three things. And one of those things is high throughput sequencing, which actually means that bioinformatics has a tool and has a techniques. We have to utilize cutting-edge sequencing technology to generate high-quality genomics data. Then we need to apply data analysis algorithms to identify patterns, trends, and insights from complex biological data. And also, we need to understand that after we've identified patterns, trends, and insights from complex biological data, we need to be able to visualize our thoughts. So in visualizing our thoughts, we need to have a very powerful visualization tools to effectively communicate research findings and to facilitate data-driven decision making. That being spoken to, three things I mentioned now. I put high throughput sequencing. From there, analysis of data. From there, visualizing data. So how do we integrate all of these things into our workflow? That's the next thing I would be speaking to. Understanding that we have found patterns, understanding that we have some complexities in this work. There is something about the human nature. And the thing about human nature is the fact that sometimes it's so hard for human to embrace transformative capacities. So, and one of these transformative capacities that we need to embrace is the capacity of bioinformatics to amplify the impact of our research endeavors, and so that we can push the boundaries of scientific discoveries, so that we can explore innovative techniques, and so that we can uncover hidden insights, and so that we can really understand and reshape the landscape of our own particular discipline. And I know that when we are able to really tap into the true potential of bioinformatics, we can actually elevate our research to new heights and make research in Africa much more powerful. On that note, I will speak to integrating bioinformatics into research workflows. I know that in most of our institutions, I myself have been to a number of institutions, both private, publicly owned institutions in Africa. I have actually seen that some institutions are actually trying to make ways or making plans, or they understand that their research is actually, there's an aspect of their research that is lacking, and that is actually where this aspect actually speaks to integrating bioinformatics into research workflow. In advanced countries, they actually understand that the bioinformatician must actually come around to help them to analyze their big data, and not just to analyze their big data. But before you even speak of analyzing your big data, he must be there to help you to strategically plan what you need to do even in the process. Because if you want to make, okay, let me make an example. If you want to make a cake and you want to make a bread, yeah, there is something in the preparation process that would differ such that the end product will not give you a cake instead of you getting a bread. That is actually the place of planning strategically, where you are able to identify the key tools and techniques from the very beginning, so that you will be able to evaluate that, okay, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. A bioinformatician must actually be present to help you to plan strategically. And from there, bioinformatician must also be present to collaborate effectively, so that his specialized knowledge and skills are actually put to use. And this actually is very, very important, because the clear role of a bioinformatician is not the role of your supervisor. The clear role of your bioinformatician is not the role of your PI, principal investigator. You need to bring a bioinformatician in and collaborate together with him, so that you can actually understand. So that he can also bring in his know-how to make sure that you have a sterling paper. The third aspect I need to also mention, so that we understand the role of bioinformatician, is to optimize your process, and this actually speaks to the real downflow, or will I call it the real downstream processes that you would need after you've actually handled your data. So you sent your data to a sequencing, to be sequenced in any of the high throughput technologies, and now you have your data. What do you do? How do we make sense of this? So about the research workflow, including a bioinformatician, will actually help you to understand this, because whenever we have a bioinformatician in this role, they actually will streamline data collection. They will help you to get that. The analysis will actually also come in very, very easy and handy, and they will actually also help us to interpret and as much as as much as possible, they can actually automate the process. That actually requires repetitive tasks such that it will be much more stressless. So whenever a bioinformatician actually implement is know-how, you are able to rest even as a scientist that is not a computer. That is not a biological data scientist. Speaking to this, I want us to go to the next slide and to speak on visualizing and communicating research data. I would be rounding up in a bit. Effective data visualization is very, very important, especially in our times now. I'm not too sure if some of us have actually used tools like Chime, like Chime. We understand that they try as much as possible. Chime is QIIME, QIIMME. You can go to qiime.org. You're going to see some serious visualization and platform and dashboards, such that they try as much as possible to use easy, intuitive infographics to tell a story. Yeah. So, and bioinformatician is actually there to help you to simplify this process. And that's why your knowledge of bioinformatics will actually help you to start to own these skills, such that you are able to understand intuitively what kind of dashboard do you have, how you can actually use infographics and flow workflows to actually represent what you have, how to tell a data story and co, so that you be able to bring data to life, and we can actually engage the audience of people that are actually looking at the data by actually leveraging this visual storytelling capacity. Research is actually made simple, and research is actually, because research is made simple, it is made accessible, and because it's made accessible, and because it's simple, it's made memorable. People will not actually forget about it, and because they are not forgetting about it, research is actually leaving an imprint and is impacting the generation. So we actually need to understand that visualization is very, very important. It should be clear, it should be concise, and it should drive home key points. I'll go to the next slide, talk about leveraging bioinformatics for hypothesis generation. I'll go to the next slide, talk about leveraging bioinformatics for hypothesis generation. Sorry, do we follow me to this point? Hello, do you follow me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Because I don't want it to seem like, okay, I am actually telling a story and the story is looking not too understandable. So I will speak to leveraging bioinformatics for hypothesis generation here. And this is to speak to the fact that whenever we're analyzing big biological data, right, we need to uncover hidden patterns. But that is not all. We need to also establish relationship that actually can inspire novel ideas and further investigation. So we once had a research known as the GOT project, and we saw that one of the underlining things that was actually done in the American GOT project was that they used what is known as citizen science, which is getting like-minded people to join in to volunteer to take part of a genomic research. That's one. And after they've gotten citizens, they were able to, voluntary citizens, they were able to get large data sets. Then researchers, when they had access to these large data sets, they were able to uncover hidden patterns. Because we're talking about the GOT here, there were microorganisms and network was actually created, and relationship was actually established to inspire novel ideas for further investigation, to inspire novel ideas for the pharmaceutical, so that they can change their approach. Because bioinformatics tools and techniques can actually unlock new avenues for hypothesis generation in a research project. So from what you can even see visually, common sense will tell you that yes, I can see a relationship. Yeah. So bioinformatics, like it's like some other people call it, is called biomedical data science. So I want us to understand that we need, as researchers, as students, as clinicians, as professionals in the industry, we need to have it in our mind that there is a call in our generation, in our time, for Africa to integrate bioinformatics into our research, not just into our research, but into our research workflow, so as to empower the scientists to generate impactful hypothesis. And this hypothesis can actually lead to breakthroughs, and can actually help us to accelerate the scientific discovery that is actually happening in Africa presently. And that is actually what we want for the future of Africa. Africa is actually will I call it a den, or will I call it a very, very rich niche for a lot of data discoveries and hypotheses, especially for health and well-being. And because we have been shown to have one of the best immunities, we have been shown to have the best skin, we have been shown to have the happiness genes and co, and that and so on. But I need to be much more realistic now and speak to overcoming bioinformatics challenges in research projects. The truth is, I think right here with me as I speak, I will just cite, I will just show us some example. On the screen here, we can see some challenges that we may actually have. And one of the challenges is data management. That is organizing, storing, securing large bioinformatics data sets, and so on. So let me start from data management. So presently, I'm going to show you something here with me. I'm not too sure if you can see it. Can you see? Can you see the screen? Everybody, can you see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So presently here on the screen, I have just this small gadget, and this gadget is a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD. I also have our usual power. This is not a power bank. This is an hard drive. Yes. And the truth is that I have a lot of those things. Why? I must even tell you that the sum total of the total number of drives I have up to 10 gig and co, and they're all full. Why? Because whenever I work with people, they all have big data. Their data, my hard drives cannot actually handle them all. But because before I work with any data, I need to first of all store it. So if I don't store the data, I'm not ready to work with it. So how do I effectively organize, store, and securely and securely handle large bioinformatics data? That's the issue. And how is it that I'm going to have access to, let's say, 15 terabyte of data? How do I go around with data like this? How do I help people with this? So knowledge of data management is something that even the common biologists like you should actually have. And that is not just the question. Another aspect of handling data is the ethics aspect of handling data. So, for example, I'm not too sure if any of you here have actually done any analysis that requires you to use the nanopore technology and try to analyze the nanopore sequence when you upload it into when you upload your data into the nanocore pipelines, for example, you would be asked, do we have human DNA here? Do you have ethical right to analyze their data? So ethics problem is also one aspect of data management that's very, very important. So we need to actually understand that implementing a robust data management strategy for your institutions where you have a protocol for effective analysis and collaboration is very, very important. Now, that being spoken to, let me just go back a little now to storing. I'm not too sure if I mentioned to Dr. Adekunle, but in our research center now, we're looking at implementing a NAS, NAS, a NAS. So that is like in a local cloud. Imagine that you have a local cloud in your house. Imagine that you have a local cloud. Okay, some persons are wondering that what is a NAS? Okay, or a cloud NAS. A cloud NAS is a cloud network attached storage. So it means that, okay, I have a storage here, but anywhere I'm located, as long as there's a Wi-Fi, I can get access to it. I can download it. I can delete it. I can still go back to it, and I can still access it again. So storage is very, very important, and it's actually a big problem because for you to be able to afford a 200 terabyte, for example, as a faculty, you need to raise something up, if not more than 30 million naira, for example. Yeah. Then processing. Okay. Then let us leave data management. Let us come to another aspect of the challenges that you would have or you may encounter even in becoming a bioinformatician, or that a bioinformatician that will work with you will have to try to overcome, and that's computational power. Now, I'm not sure that Dr. Adekunle already mentioned it, but there's something known as servers and server access, demo server access, then servers for your processing. There's something known as computation powers. We all have computers, and all our computers they have something known as RAM. They have something known as processor. Then the processor there has its capability. So it's computational power. The computation power is something that actually speaks for itself. So imagine that you're trying to transfer a file from your Windows 7, or will I say from Windows 2000. You imagine that you have to transfer 1 terabyte from a Windows 2000 to a flash drive or to an external hard drive. Imagine how many days you have to stay for that process. Why? Because of the computational power. That's the same analogy that it goes with. That we can use to describe working with data, with big data on our computer. Even if your computer has a processor of 16 gig, it is nothing. It is nothing. So you need processors with many threads, not less than 64 threads, and you need processing power of at least 64. If not, I think the least clocking should be around 128 standard, so that you'll be able to do something meaningful. And if not, you just use the servers, because servers actually have some of these resources, and you need internet access. So many bioinformatics analysis require very significant computing resources and power that will help you to access high performance computing infrastructures or cloud-based solutions. So many of the solutions that we have that will actually make your process faster is in the cloud. And because this will actually help you to overcome computing limitations. Then another issue that you may actually have. Now, I saw how rich our introductions are. I saw a clinician. I saw an animal breeder and co. Bioinformatics actually is an interdisciplinary requires an interdisciplinary collaborations. So there is a need to bridge the gap between biologists, bioinformaticians, and every other field, so that we can actually effectively communicate to these different domains so that we can unlock new research insights. And that's actually another issue. That's why we need to have a bioinformatics community. Do you understand me? So when we have a community of this nature, we will be able to communicate in lame way such that so that we are able to bring the typical biologist higher, and so that they themselves can also acquire know-hows, and they will be able to handle and present some particular, some of this information themselves. I know I'm actually taking time. I'm just trying to explain these things. Then the last thing I'm going to also speak to, which is actually a challenge, is the bioinformatics skill development challenge. There is a need for continual learning and upskilling in the of the bioinformatics tools. So what does that mean? It means that as research advances, you understand, the same way your telephone have actually from time to time tells you to upgrade, that's the same way bioinformatics tools and techniques will actually change from time to time. Researchers must be willing to stay ahead of the curve, to go out of their comfort zone, to maximize the impact of this upgrade, and to go from time to time. So the same way we used to have a Python 5.0, 6.0, and now we have 14. You understand? And they all went like that from step to step. That's the same way bioinformatics skill development should continue. I will speak to the next two slides, then round up. Please let us go to the next slide. I want to talk about collaborating with bioinformatics experts. Why do you need to collaborate with bioinformatics experts? So recently, there's someone on this call presently, a biomedical technologist that had an interest in studying epilepsy in Africa. We discovered that in the whole of Africa, let me say that again, in the whole of Africa, before I speak about the whole of Africa, let me ask, raise your hand if you have met, you have one time or the other met somebody with epilepsy. I want to see our reaction there in the chat. Raise your hand if you have one time or the other met somebody with epilepsy. Okay, I can see Jonathan's hand. Who else's hand can I actually see there? Okay, I can see, wow, everyone's hand, practically everyone's hand is actually raised up. Yeah, so I can actually see that everyone's hand is practically raised up here. Everyone has seen someone with epilepsy. Now, which actually mean that it's not actually a disorder that we don't know. But do you know that in the whole of Africa, we could not find one, not even one. We could not find not even one genomic data that was sequenced for someone with epilepsy. So I remembered how that this final year student walked up to our supervisor and says, supervisor, this is my interest. I'm not interested in that thing that you're doing, but this is what I want to do. I want to find a cure to epilepsy. I want to look at how I can find the molecular underpinnings of epilepsy in Africa. And we started looking for epilepsy. We found in Kazan. In fact, I think it's one of the least of disease interest. I don't know, but maybe it's because it's genomics is difficult, or maybe because it may be difficult. I don't know. But in short, in Africa, we did not find one data set. And in fact, on finding we found for China, we found for Kazakhstan, we found for Saudi Arabia. I want you to know that even for these different places we found, they were all government grants. You understand? It wasn't someone that just woke up and said he wanted to do an exome sequencing for people that had epilepsy. Now, since we did not find in Africa, the supervisor could not help her. Yeah. Which actually calls for, which actually speaks to the need for us to understand that there's a need for you to collaborate with the bioinformatics expert. And that being said, it means that we need to have the mindset that interdisciplinary teamwork is very, very important. Partnering with bioinformatics specialists, enabling effective integration for computational research workflow. And then why do we also need to collaborate with bioinformatics experts so that they can help you to interpret your data real quick and real fast, and so that you can actually uncover meaningful insight. There are some insights you will not be able to see; they will be able to see it. Then also they are also most of the time up to date with bioinformatics tools. We will try as much as possible to give you introductions into bioinformatics tools, even in the course of this program, so that you can look at those tools. And on the 5th day, we will also have a practical into network graph, so that you will be able to even draw a network graph for yourself using your own data. Then one of the other reasons why you want to collaborate with a bioinformatics expert is so that you would be able to build your own data analysis capability. And when you work with them and they show you that, okay, this is what we did, this is what we do, you will also stay up to date with the latest methodologies. That being spoken, please to the next slide. What are the opportunities? The next slide for bioinformatics enabled research. There are a lot of government grants, NIH grants, National Science Foundation grants, and co that revolves about not just One Health, about researches that are pivoted on bioinformatics, that are pivoted on big data analysis. That is one. The next is also your industry partnership. You actually have more chances to collaborate with pharmaceutical, biotechnology, health, and every other aspect, drug development, to drive innovation into their field. When you actually have the know-how of bioinformatics, and especially when you also carry out bioinformatics enabled research. I remember a research that someone reached out to us about. I think the person was a microbiologist that actually wanted to link our work into One Health, and she was going into fish production and co, and it was quite interesting to see that, okay, there's a One Health perspective to even something of that nature. Yeah, she was a microbiologist, she was crossing into the field of agriculture and livestock production, and something One Health was actually coming from there. But she actually had the good stamina to lay claims to One Health. Why? Because the approach she was bringing in was actually bioinformatics. Then there are a lot of private foundations too that are seeking for, that are seeking for people that actually non-profit foundation that are seeking for people that and are trying to support interdisciplinary research in the intersect of any biology, marine biology, molecular biology, biochemistry, cancer biology, and most of those biologies are trying to fund and finance people that want to have intersections with computational scientists, with computational science, which is biomedical data science. And of course, university initiatives too are quite there. They are actually providing seed funding for faculties that want to pursue novel bioinformatics enabled research. I hope that from this point of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that we need to leverage powerful tools and techniques that we will discuss even in the future, that we have actually mentioned in the past, and once we are able to leverage this, our researchers, our scientists from Africa, from Pakistan, from different parts of the world, from India, they can actually unlock new frontiers in scientific discoveries and innovations. And by embracing our bioinformatics, the horizon of research projects in Africa can become solid, can become standard, can expand, can also lead to more impactful findings and breakthrough. Thank you so much for following till this point. I want to ask if we have any questions. Do you have any questions? I want to ask if you have any questions. I can see hands up already. Are the hands, has the hands been up or they are just going up now? Okay, let me ask us, do we have any questions? I want us to raise our hands again. Okay, we have Gertrude. Gertrude, can you unmute yourself? Can you ask your question? Gertrude, you are still muted. Wanchi, we can't hear you. All right, do we have another person that has another question? You can write your question in the chat. We are able to read it. If you have a question, we are able to read it.
Olayinka has a question. Can you please unmute and ask quickly before we proceed to the next session?
All right. Thank you, sir. I want to sincerely appreciate this opportunity given to us for being part of this innovation. But I've been able to learn one or two things today about this informatics. I'll quickly go on my question. I mean, to ask my question on the issue of the power states. So, the computational power concerning this training with the look of our present system and the information that we might have, maybe having access to run with. Can we say that our system will be able to run it effectively? Or we need to get all these gadgets ready. So that's my question concerning that.
Okay, you want to know if your computer will be able to do one or two things. That's a very, very good question. So your computer will be able to do aspect that has to do with data visualization. That is to say, when and where you have to use tools like your R Studio, when and where you have to use some other tools that is online, your computer will be able to do that, okay? But when and where you have to use a virtual environment and install it on your computer, your computation power will actually be very, very slow. It means that you have to use more electricity, and you may have to wait 1 week, not shutting down your computer. In the long run, your computer will have to crash. So computational power is actually one very, very serious question. So speaking about what we'll be doing in the introduction into bioinformatics. For this first week, I'm very, very sure that your phone will be able to handle everything we will have to do. The most important thing is for you to ask questions, and you will be guided appropriately. Even your phone will be able to do what we will have to do. Yeah, if it's possible for you to be on your computer, that will be quite better. Yeah, but I believe that Dr. Adekunle have more answers to that question. Please let us take note of that question, Dr. Adekunle. I want you to speak to that question as I take another hand. What other hands do we have there raised? Okay. Gertrude, is your hand up or should I lower it down? Can you unmute Gertrude Wanchi? Okay. I think Gertrude is not here. Jennifer, please, over to you. Do you have a question?
Yeah, good afternoon. Sir, please, how can I link microbiology to bioinformatics about it?
All right, thank you so much for that question. There's actually a field of of applied bioinformatics in the area of microbiology that is known as metagenomics. So, one of the introductory courses, I believe, is metagenomics. So I believe that as we get started, you will be able to see it and you will understand and you get more clarity, and we will ask more questions from you, and you will be able to answer those questions as it regards these different aspects. Have I been able to answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, can I add to that, Dr. Ayanfeoluwa?
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think Gertrude is ready to come up. Gertrude, we would like to listen to your question before we move on with the next session, the final session of this presentation. But if I may add to what your response to Jennifer, so that actually came to my mind while Dr. Ayanfeoluwa was presenting earlier on. Talking about the role of bioinformaticians in, research designs and projects, getting them involved from start. He spoke eloquently around bioinformatician. I like to add, one of the notes I penned down here on my end was to state that Ayanfeoluwa, is a microbiology by training, first degree, all right? He didn't start out as bioinformatician. And that is one of the whole essence of this training, to bring many
I think we are losing you. I think
of us across
we are losing you. Am I?
Primary background.
Yes, please. Can you go back to where you started?
Yes.
Sorry,
that should be about network. So I was saying, Dr. Ayanfeoluwa, the facilitator, doubles as a microbiologist by first degree, all right? But then he spoke eloquently around, the role of bioinformatician and all of that. And that speaks to the whole essence of this training, to bring many of us, irrespective of our background, as biologists. I'll refer to most of us as biologists. Myself, I'm a medical laboratory, scientist. So, I work on the clinical aspect, but nonetheless, irrespective of our background, whether as an agriculturist, as an environmental scientist, as a public health scientist, as a clinician, maybe, food nutritionist or what have you, everyone has an intercept, with bioinformatics. As far as we are involved in researches, we generate data sets from our laboratory, from our wet laboratory processes. Many a times, we are not able to make additional insights from this data set beyond the immediate scientific interpretations. And especially in this age and time of genomics, omics sciences, there are lots we can do beyond the the wet lab, taking most of these various aspects of biology into the sequencing perspective. And from there, we're able to having this sequence data set, huge data sets, explore them, analyze them, and come up with additional insights beyond what we can see on the bench or from our wet laboratory processes. So every one of us has, something or the other to do with bioinformatics. And so today he's probably functioning as a bioinformatician, or, bringing those skill sets to his research in his place of work. I see, the goal is many of us also getting to that state where we can, so yeah, so the goal or the import of this training is many of us being able to get to that state where our skill set as bioinformaticians or knowledge skills as in bioinformatics can be applied to our own immediate researches, as well as deploying those skill sets in some, in some roles to other research work in our institutions and our, study groups or environment. So, Jennifer, please just be very much aware that in the course of the 5 days training, we'll be exposing us to some courses and lessons that would speak to the different aspects of applications of bioinformatics, whether in health or what have you. And then we see how to take it further from there, how to take further skill up and upskill our bioinformatics skills, and ultimately, at the end of the 4 months, apply these skills to a certain research project of interest. So perhaps you will be looking at it from the microbiology perspective as a microbiologist. There might be someone else on this call who wants to just look at the data science perspective of bioinformatics research, and some others might just be interested in precision medicine or what have you, infectious diseases. This will be the goal at the end of the 4 months. So I wouldn't know if there's any other question, or for the purpose of time, I will want to run through the next section of this presentation, where I will be speaking more to the training that we have that will be coming up in the next set of weeks, beginning with the phase 1, 2, and 3. And then ultimately we get to ask questions on how we can maximize this training program to become experts in this field. So if that is okay, if there's no other questions, I want to move on. Dr. Ayanfe, what do you think?
All right. There are just 2 or 3 questions here. I will just take them all at once. I can just throw the questions to you. Say that I would like to know how bioinformatics link with public health. That's one. Can it still link to biochemistry? That's another question. There is someone here, veterinary anatomist, is also asking a question. Then someone is asking a question about metabolomics here. So I believe that those are the questions. All right. Since Dr. Adekunle is muted, I will just speak to the fact that there are a lot of aspects of this different field. You, as a public health person, do you want to address public health? I mean, how do you want to address the public health? Do you want to address the health system? By health system, I mean the system in which health cases is being recorded. There is health informatics. So it's it's an aspect of bioinformatics. You, as a biochemistry, are you really interested in drug design and discovery? There is that aspect of bioinformatics. You, as a biochemistry, as a biochemist, are you interested in food, nutrigenomics and co? There are a lot of aspects as regarding relationship nodes and relationship of metabolites and proteins and co. There are actually a lot of things you can actually do, a lot of insight you can actually draw from what we actually have. You're a plant breeder, or you are a zoologist. You are interested in aspect of bioinformatics that talks about arthropods, and you're interested in modeling how they multiply. You're interested in doing some other of this aspect. They are very, 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 very possible. Yeah, there is a data science aspect of where we will be getting to, where you will have to learn R, to learn Python and co, and look at how they apply to whatsoever you are doing. So I will stop at this point, and I will ask Dr. Adekunle to carry on, please, by sharing the screen. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So I will want to move on quickly to the next part of this presentation. Permit me to share my screen. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen now.
Yes.
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 Okay, great. Thank you very much. So once again, I'm Adekunle Adeluwoye, a program director on the OmicsLogic Africa and UREKA program. And quickly, as mentioned earlier, this program, the 4 months Bioinformatics Learning and Research Mentoring Program, is a 3-phased, 4 months long program. The goal is to take, participants, whether people who are previously aware and have some form of knowledge around bioinformatics, or perhaps newbies who are just coming, getting interested in what they can do with data science and want to learn bioinformatics. So the goal is to take everyone from a beginner level to an expert level. And the program is a focused learning bioinformatics training. Focused learning in the sense that we're going to go in a pedagogical format from scratch, from gradually building on what we have learned and ultimately to become an expert. Let me state that, please, if you think you don't have enough time or you are not really ready for the ride, you might just as well drop off. But then I will encourage you not to do so, because it's something that gets interesting by the way as you move on. Gets interesting as much as you want to just devolve yourself and put the whole of your energies into it. And ultimately, once the consistency is there, I can bet you within the space of these 4 months, you should be at the end of this section making a presentation like this on your own chosen topic in your own area of interest. So this program is 3-phased. It's commencing today. Ultimately, I will speak to the various phases down the line. The OmicsLogic training that we've been talking about has some educational objectives, and the training follows a project-based learning approach using research-grade tools to analyze data from top peer-reviewed journals, as well as data sets that are available on publicly available repositories such as NCBI, EBI, that is the European, Bioinformatics network, and a whole lot of that. The OmicsLogic training has been completed by students, by researchers, by faculty. By faculty, I mean lecturers, scientists, industry persons, professionals from various background on various specialization tracks that we have on the learning platform. Those specialization tracks include the infectious diseases, data science for biomedical data, neuroscience, oncology, precision medicine, and lately, of course, by the time we go through the some of the introductory lessons and courses, you see that we even have space, space bioinformatics focused learning, because you agree with me, more and more than ever before, humans are now exploring into the space. Most of heavy investment going into science and research in recent times are on how to develop space buses and space, rockets that will take people to go, and maybe you want to go on vacation just to go to the moon or go somewhere else to just maybe the Mars to explore those environments. So currently we have also space, space bioinformatics track, which focuses on what are the changes, what happens when an individual travels from the Earth, visits the moon, and coming back. What are those, what are the bacteria present over there? How does that impact the human biology and a whole lot of that? All right. And several other aspects of bioinformatics generally also, which can be built on even the existing tracks we have on our learning platform. So during this training program, participants will be allowed to select and follow a track-based bioinformatics training path in order to help upskill their bioinformatics skill set for research and practice. Those, track-based bioinformatics learning section will actually follow this phase 1, introductory section. So during this phase 1, we'll be introducing most of these various aspects of the omics sciences, all right, so that participants can see what applies or connects best to their own expertise or area of specialization or background, and from there follow those paths ultimately to building their skill set and then taking up a research project at the end of the program. All right. So, and with this training, participants will be having a clear understanding of the logic behind various bioinformatics analysis in the context of cutting-edge research projects, and also see how data science methods can be used to study biological phenomena. We will be combining online interactive sessions, self-guided study materials. Take note, I said self-guided. We'll provide the links. They are self-paced studies, and they have practical assignments inclusive within them. Of course, we have our WhatsApp and Telegram group. We've been trying to nudge a lot of participants to join this group. We hope activity will be, on top notch on those groups to interact and engage with each other, participants, interpersonal engagement and relationship, learning from one another as well as from the mentors on this program. All right. This whole is designed to provide us an immersive experience that has proven to be very effective in our well-known and respected OmicsLogic Bioinformatics training programs. However, note that only paid workshop participants will have full access to the courses, in the phase 2 of this program. I'm sure you understand why and appreciate that that is, of course, necessary. Let me mention that there's also a platform known as the Bioinfo Server platform. I remember someone asked a question earlier on regarding, are we going to be able to do most of this bioinformatics analysis on our laptop, on our local systems? And I remember the facilitator responded to that. So yes, there are some of these things you can carry out on your local system, or perhaps using your local system to connect to a cloud-based server where that data set will be uploaded, or you possibly simply point the URL of that data set to that cloud, and you allow the tools and algorithms that are on the cloud to simply connect to that data set on the repository where it is stored and hosted, meaning you don't have to download this data set on your local drive, and then the analysis is done and the pipeline is completed and the results presented to you. Okay, so definitely you will still be needing your system here. But of course, that is not to say that the computing power of your system also matters, because of course you agree with me, 2 gig RAM system to design a PowerPoint presentation will perform not at the same level with a 16 gig RAM system. I'm not talking about some other component of the system now. I'm just speaking to the processing speed. All right, the pace at which you copy data, you paste before it even responds on the 2 gig RAM system, before you get to see it, will not be at the same speed of light on a 16 gig RAM laptop these days, of course. So that is just about that. So we would be giving participants access as necessary, either as the demo level or at the optional paid level to Bioinfo server, where they can run their pipeline in the cloud and get to have results for their analysis. So here on this screen now is how the Bioinfo server platform looks like. You can see several tools and algorithms here on the platform there, with which you can run several types of analysis. Okay. However, throughout this course, participants will have access to the demo access. They will be given the demo access to the Bioinfo platform for bioinformatics processing. What that means is simply that there are some data sets already uploaded onto these cloud server, which you can use to practice what you will be learning in the courses. Okay, of course, at distant future, should you want to use the Bioinfo server to run your own project, so maybe you design a project and you want to run it on this platform, there are opportunities for that. All a participant needs to do is to get a research license to have access to this platform. And so that, in that case, you can upload your data set if it is something present with you locally on your machine, on your laptop, or possibly you have found this data set on a public repository sometimes maybe 500 gigabytes, 2 terabytes. I'm sure you know these are heavy data. All right, you might simply want to point the link to this same server and use it to run your assay. So quickly to walk through this platform, you can see the various section, on this platform where you can have a demo, access to demo pipeline, and get to run your analysis and see your results. I'll move on quickly now. Okay, so this training program is open to both newbies without prior knowledge, because the question might be, who is this program for? Okay, it's open to newbies without prior knowledge about bioinformatics, as well as also experienced persons willing to build further their capacities in bioinformatics and big data analysis space for scientific research. Perhaps you want to just, this time around, pick up a project, go through the mentorship process, and end up, running your own research that you can publish at the end of these 4 months, training. Then this program is also for you. So whether as students, either high school, undergraduate, or postgraduate level, let me state that in Nigeria, we've not actually been able to target the high school level. But of course, we've seen this program utilized in some other regions globally, where high school students, secondary school students engage and interacted, learned the program, and were able to even proceed to take up a project using tools and skills they have learned to run this project with publicly available data sets. So high school, undergraduate, just like the facilitator mentioned earlier on, of an undergraduate who, having gone through similar trainings like this or programs like this previously, at her undergraduate level, chose that she wasn't going to do the usual, what everybody does, either buy some set of rats and give them some plants, and then, tell them, or begin to say, oh, so this happens and that happens. I mean, this is not bad, this is wet lab. Okay, but this person chose to run her project, using bioinformatics. And like Dr. Ayanfe explained the other time, it was a success. And equally at postgraduate level, in fact, many of us at postgraduate level should begin to think of enhancing our researches and projects with bioinformatics. So PhDs and faculties, lecturers in our colleges and universities, or biologists and clinicians at laboratories, whether private or public out there, or biotech companies and industry, are all beneficiaries or potential beneficiaries of this program. Quickly, before I move on, let me share a few testimonials from some previous participants who have gone through our program, our training, and shared their experience. The first person here is Till Matthew. He is a lecturer and faculty at Joseph Sakan. Sorry, permit me if I can't pronounce that name. Former, Federal University of Federal University of Agriculture, Benue, Makurdi. It is now renamed after Joseph Sakanwa something. Sorry, I can't remember that now. All right, particularly the middle name S there is difficult for me to pronounce. But then, Matthew at the end of the program said, first and foremost, I really want to appreciate the admin desk for the wonderful opportunity of bringing the OmicsLogic to our doorstep. It has really broadened my horizon. The symposium has refreshed and opened new doors into different research areas for me. I believe that I am now an ambassador of the OmicsLogic. I will pass this information to as many students and colleagues as possible. Thank you all. So that is from Matthew. Quickly, I move on to the next person. The next person is Halima Atanda. Is a recent graduate of biotechnology, as at the time this program was organized. So he said, thank you, OmicsLogic Africa, for the opportunity to explore so much in biological data analysis using Python and R. I've received the certificate of participation for the genomics workshop, and I'm looking forward to learning more. So that's another review from another participant. A quick one again. Let me speak to this other person, Abigail Nkana. Okay, he's from Department of Microbiology, University of Uyo. He said, hi everyone, I've received my certificate today. Thanks so much to the entire OmicsLogic crew. You are wonderful. It was a worthwhile experience and an eye-opener. I really appreciate this. Will help beginners like me to join and sharpen my knowledge I think one needs to attend the training more than once to fully master the process. That is from Abigail. The last but not the least I will be speaking to is Abiola Juliana. And this is what Abiola Juliana has to say. I heard about the training from a senior friend and I do not regret joining. It's been an interesting and expository week, though tasking and challenging. Underline that. So I said earlier on, we should all just simply buckle up and learn this within just a space of 1 week. I mean, we'll have added something to our to our cape. So having to go through the courses coupled with all I had on my plate for the week, there are so many people out there that will be interested in this training. I hope there's a way to get this across to so many people. I want to sincerely thank the organizers, Bioinformatics, OmicsLogic Africa, and Co. Thank you all so much. So these are some of the reviews we've gotten from previous participants. We look forward to many of these even after this training. And so at this junction, I want to go back again to commence the process of onboarding many of us who are on this meeting and as many who will still be listening to or seeing this video afterwards. So the first step I would recommend every one of us to do, this is different from the earlier registration to be part of this training. So we need to visit OmicsLogic.com. That is our learning platform. Okay, and then sign up. Let me recommend that I prefer you all sign up with your email. Don't do Google sign up or LinkedIn sign up. Not that it doesn't work, but we've seen many participants while trying to do that and have some issues with their account. Their account is not fully functional. Okay, either because of network or what have you on our end here. So we recommend sign up with your email, enter your password, and then you're able to proceed using that same account. One of the first things we recommend upon signing up is to visit your profile. So upon signing up, you will see yourself, your account name, you see your email, you see the various menu item on the upper tab there, and you see the logout button. So you're already signed up. So when having signed up and you can see your email more like you're already into the platform, click on your email. Simply take your mouse, your cursor to the email, click on it. That takes you to your own profile, personal profile page, which is something like what you can see on the screen. And when you get to the personal profile page, we now recommend you update this profile page. You complete the profile page. The first thing we'd like you to do is you can add your image, maybe headshot or avatar of yourself. Don't forget, this is going to be a platform, a community for you to network and work and collaborate with other participants and like-minded scientists. All right. So enter your full name. Okay. Perhaps you didn't enter your full name initially during registration. So put in your full name now. And here I will recommend you pay attention to putting the correct name in the correct order, because this is what will be automatically generated alongside course completion certificate, which I will show us afterwards. All right. So make sure the name is correctly spelled with appropriate capitalization. Then proceed to add your social media handles, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Instagram, Twitter, and the ORCID ID. The ORCID ID is the researcher's, identification ID. So you can add each of the links. You visit, you log into each of these pages, ensure you're on your own personal profile on those pages, and then copy the URL to add to those feeds. And then that will be that. Let me state that upon doing this, there are, points, because the platform is points-based. There are points that you get to earn, and then ultimately you get to see there's a line bar that you begin to say as you add your name, as you progress completing your profile page, ultimately until it gets to 100%, where it turns green, meaning you have done everything necessary, and so your profile is completed. All right. So like I said earlier on, yes, there are certificates of completion of courses which participants go on to earn during these training programs. Okay. Let me state that participants will be having access to these certificates of completion for Introduction to Bioinformatics course before the end of this week. Okay. Whereas for those other courses we have on our platform, which will be taken during the track-based bioinformatics scale-up sections, that is the phase 2. Participants, upon completing those courses, then will equally be earning this certificate for those various courses. So meaning there are a lot of certificates we have to show, at the end of the day. But ultimately, there is a workshop certificate. It will interest you. Was it just 3 or 4 days ago? Someone who participated in a program back in 2022 in a specific, not just introductory workshop like this, but a metagenomics focused workshop. Okay, just reached out to us that, sorry, please, I eagerly will be in need of my certificate. I didn't collect it back then. And you can imagine it became a point of discussion among some of us here, talking about how we'll possibly even get this certificate out now, reaching the international office and what have you. So we recommend for participants who are interested in getting an end of workshop certificate to please reach out and get it at the end of this week. Let me state that this is optional. It is optional because this 1-week training is free, sponsored based on the scholarship fund of the OmicsLogic International Office. However, if you want to get your certificate at the end of the training, you have to pay to get the certificate. It is optional. The knowledge is with you. All right. So the cost is 5,000 naira or $5 US. Okay, so that is about that. But I'll quickly move on to something I think some of us have been interacting with and have been having 1 or 2 challenges. That is the activity tracker. This is actually very much important for all participants going through this program. The activity tracker helps us to monitor your activity and your progress on these courses, on these various lessons, starting from today. So we have shared the link before now. All you need to do is to just visit the link, the URL, and locate your name. And in front of your name, you can simply indicate what is necessary for you to do regarding this. I will go live now and show us what we need to do with that activity tracker. Please, as much as possible, don't tamper on that activity tracker. I will recommend you try as much as possible to visit the tracker on your laptop. Yes, for some persons who have done this or who are very much aware of how to go about it, may be able to do that on their mobile devices. But note that the interface you are seeing here on the mobile interface, on the mobile phones and devices is different, totally different. Okay, so that is why we recommend you visit, and it is easier for you to, copy, paste, or indicate, your level while doing this. So I think I want to move on and take all of this. Okay, let me go live. I will want to stop sharing and go live now to quickly just show us this. All right. Please, I will be resharing my screen. Let me know when you can see my screen. Please, can you see my screen now?
No.
Okay, a moment, please.
No.
Can you see my screen now?
Not yet, sir. Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. So earlier on, I talked about this activity tracker. I will be using the first name here, Daniel Akinyemi, who is a member of our team, and his name is in bold and italicized font here to show an example to us. Here, you can see participant profile page URL. This is the profile page URL for this person. Okay, and how do I get that profile page URL? Remember, I was showing us on how to update our profile page URL time. After logging in, click on your email on the menu bar on top of the page. It takes you to your own personal profile page. When you're on your own personal profile page, simply click on the the browser and copy the URL there. That is this URL you see here is unique for every participant, and we expect you to come in front of your name and paste that URL here. This has been done before now, and that is why you can see it there. Then as you move on towards the end of this program, remember I mentioned the platform is point-based. We expect you to get to update your point as you move on, ultimately until you attain 10,000 points, but which time the platform will identify you as an expert user. So you move from beginner to intermediate and then to ultimately expert user. So, but ultimately we want participants to, paste their points as they go along their program here. At the end of today, for every one of us who participated in this live session, we expect us to now come and also interact with these various, activity, indicators. All right. So for this, all I need to click is on that drop-down button. I want to indicate status. So I will be indicating that, yes, I joined the session all through. Of course, you might want to indicate join session but left or couldn't join session. And we recommend that at the end, for those who will be seeing the video of this session after now, it is recommended that you also come and interact with this activity tracker after you must have completed the video and gone through the video. So here in this case now, I'm indicating that join session all through. The reason you saw that pop up on that page was because we have applied a lock key to this particular cohort because a number of persons were messing it up initially. But we will try to reopen it. But in case you are trying to do that and it shows that pop-up button, let me show another one here. Okay. The next question was pre-workshop survey. So at the end of this presentation, we will be sharing all the links for the courses for today, as well as the pre-workshop survey, which we expect you to fill moving forward. So also you need to, of course, I want to indicate now that I'm yet to fill the survey. So for a tab that is, if your session, your cohort is logged, like the A to E cohort 1, these pop-ups will be there. Just simply said, okay, so yet to fill survey. And so we expect you to move on like that. Day one lessons. We will be releasing all the links to our WhatsApp group as well as to the Google documents we shared earlier on, where we have the links currently vacant, but we'll be adding it shortly after this live session. So when you are done with all the lessons for day one, simply come here and indicate either course in progress or daily course tasks completed. I mean, you can see. So this is how we expect participants to interact with all of these various activity indicators up onto the closing session and the post-workshop survey. We will be taking note of this when we have to issue certificates for those who will be interested afterwards. But beyond that too, we want to be able to follow and mentor appropriately all participants. That is why it is important you engage with this activity tracker. So that's about the activity tracker. So permit me to quickly jump back to my presentation at this point. Questions will be taken if there is any, at the end of this section. Okay. All right. So moving on, I've spoken about the activity tracker at this point. So now at this point, I'd like to speak now to the 3 phases of this 4-month-long training and how participants can take advantage of the entire program or some of the phases of the 4 months program. Okay, remember the program commences today and is going to span through to August 2024. So the first phase is the phase 1, which is the free introductory bioinformatics workshop that is commencing today. It's a 1-week-long program, meaning it starts from today and ends this Friday. Perhaps Saturday, Sunday could be just post-workshop engagement on the platform. All right. So at this stage, I will be going live again on the browser to interact with us and show us the Google document so that we can see the various outline for this 1 week presentation. All right, so let me share my screen and go to that particular page. Please kindly confirm you can now see my screen.
Same.
Okay, great. So phase 1 5-day free workshop curriculum, introduction to bioinformatics. We are currently taking the live session. We expect participants immediately after now to begin to engage with these courses. The first thing will be introduction to bioinformatics. Some of the topics that will be covered will be introduction to bioinformatics, what data are, types of data or data sets we are talking about. We look at data visualization, then the central dogma of molecular biology. We need to have a basic understanding or revise some of these things, which I believe some of us already have learned or know before now. And then we'll also speak to databases. So for that, this currently now, if you go back, for some of us who have visited this page before now, these links to be provided, this a box here in front of this introduction to bioinformatics was vacant, was blank. All right, but we have currently added the link. If you revisit on your system or on your laptop now, you would see that the link is there. So, but I would encourage us to just keep pause and let's conclude this section, by which time we now have access to visiting this lesson. So all you need to do is copy this link or right click on it and go straight to that particular page to visit that course. So I'll do that. Let me try to paste that here. I hope it will not be asking me to log in first. Most likely that will be okay. Yes, so it's asking me to log in to my account before I can see that page, and this is where it is necessary for you to have registered. So if you have not previously registered, please click on register for free, and if you have registered previously like me, click on login. Okay, so I'm expected to log in before I can have access to this particular lesson. Let me see if I can do that quickly.
You may have to change the email. Okay,
so you are not currently seeing my view, right? Okay, so let me leave that. I'll come back to that again afterwards. Let me continue with this. Sorry for that. I forgot I was sharing a particular browser and not the entire screen. So moving on, still as part of day 1, you're expected to look at data analysis in bioinformatics, get to understand about gene prediction, 5 formats that we work with when we are working with bioinformatics. Same way with all my Word document. If I'm working with a Microsoft Word document, either ends with .docs or .doc, or we know all the extension. If it's a PDF, it's a .pdf file and all of that. So I'll say this is a PDF file, this is a PowerPoint file, if I can see PPTS and all of that. So there are 5 formats we need to work with when talking about bioinformatics. So 5 formats such as FASTA, FASTQ file, and the rest. Then you get to also understand what is multiple sequence alignment, and get to also understand about blasting tools, blast tools, and all of that. Lesson 3 or section 3 talks about big biological data-driven discovery, and certain examples that we can also see. Then bioinformatics in healthcare covers personalized healthcare, molecular diagnosis, treatment development, and a whole lot of that. And then ultimately, that's day 1 section ends with translational bioinformatics, where we look at bioinformatics in environmental science, bioinformatics in agriculture, and also in other areas. These are the specific links for each of these. So, and at the end, late this evening, sorry we are taking time for today being the opening session, but late this evening, we will yet be dropping some quiz on our various platforms on the WhatsApp group page for participants to judge and measure their progress and what they might have learned. All right, that is not to say that there are not some end of lessons or courses, quizzes within those links when we visit them. So this will continue like this. Tomorrow is day 2. You can see the links are not yet pasted. These are the things we expect participants to cover or to learn about on the other days. Okay, we'll be adding the link afterwards. Day 3 is also there. All right, then we have day 4. Okay, that talks about introduction to metagenomics. Don't forget, we say we're going to introduce participants to different, at least some aspects of bioinformatics. And ultimately, day 5 will be ending with introduction to R. Okay, so these are the things we expect to cover. Let me mention that on the other days from tomorrow, we are hoping that there will be a walkthrough or catch-up session, a 20-minute section in the afternoon. We just open the Google Meet. If anybody is available to join to ask a question or to share with other participants what they've learned, don't forget, it's good to share what you learn. It's one of the ways to strengthen your knowledge base, or the skills you have actually learned. All right, so there will be 20-minute section, and then after that, other conversations happens on the various platforms, either on Telegram or on WhatsApp. So that is about what we have for these 5 days. I will end by saying that some of these lessons, when you visit those pages, you will see other lessons that may be of interest, but immediately you see a lesson that carries a star on those pages, just simply know that they are not available. They will only be available during the phase 2, by which time we expect those who will be interested in going further to have registered and make their payments for registration, that is attached for those other phases, and then they can have full access to those, other premium lessons that carries a star on those pages. So that will be about that. So at this point, let me also end this live session and quickly conclude what I have, on the other slides. I'm wrapping up. Give me, say, about 5 to 10 minutes. I should be ending. Okay, so now back to the slide. I will want to now show us how to specifically join these programs or know what other phases of this 4 months training, present or holds for us. The next phase 2, like we said, is a bioinformatics skill-up training session. The whole essence for the phase 2 is to build further some of the things we have learned in this phase 1, in the introductory bioinformatics workshop phase. It's going to be minimum of 3 weeks. That is the targeted time. However, we look forward to possibly adding an additional week within the remaining timeline we have for the program. But nonetheless, the main focus of the phase 2 rather, will be 3 weeks. So we hope participants get to complete all they have during those periods. So in this section, we'll have this track, the infectious disease track, transcriptomics track, the precision oncology track, the metagenomics track, the data science or machine learning track. Before the end of this, we will be sharing a form for individuals to indicate their likely research area of interest or tracks of interest, which will inform which track they join when they proceed to the phase 2. Let me state that, like most of us saw on the registration page or on the flyer, there is a price tag that covers the entire 4 months training program. But we have figured out also that there may be individuals interested in just stopping at the phase 2, just want to build their skills, not necessarily interested in taking it further to run a project, meaning they are not interested in the entire 4 months. So for such participants, the phase 2 training will be available to them at a price of 50,000 naira or $45. Okay, and those are people who are willing to now engage all the various courses in these tracks of interest to want to build on their skills. All right, let me move on. Let me state that most of these costs, are already heavily subsidized compared to, the USD value for people in other regions across the globe. But then, for participants who are not Nigerians, who are not Africans, all right, who are from outside of African continent, who want to participate, then they can also leverage on our own specially, discounted price to also join these trainings. So part of what we'll be looking at, like I said, during the phase 2, we include learning about various 5 formats that are useful during our studies, during our analysis. Then there is the genomics track, some persons might be interested in transcriptomics, talking about RNA expression and how all of these inform phenotypes. And then metagenomics, someone was asking about microbiology and what have you the other time. And I remember the facilitator also spoke about the American Gut Project. So this will be looked at during the metagenomics track. And then we have the machine learning or the data science track for persons who will just be interested in coding, Python, and how to, just carry out data analysis, data science analysis. So all of this will be covered during the phase 2. And let me state that the whole essence of the skill up, bioinformatics skill up session, of this 4 months training is to get participants started and to grow in their knowledge and use of bioinformatics skill set. So I quickly touch on the last phase, the phase 3. So the whole idea is that having gone through the phase 1 and further build the skills during the phase 2, that this will culminate in the phase 3, which is the research mentoring phase of this program. It is a project-based bioinformatics research training. It will last about 10 weeks of the remaining 4 months, okay, where participants go on to identify their topics of interest in their own area of field, and then go on to identify data sets under guidance that they can use, publicly available data sets, so you don't need to start thinking, oh, where will I sequence, or where will I get sample to sequence and all of that. Don't worry, there are publicly available data sets you can use and carry out your study or research, and even go ahead to publish using this data set that people have previously also published on. Okay, so these are all allowed. So it's a 10 weeks long program. So this is a research fellowship styled mentoring section to help participants identify and execute their own project of interest, leveraging on skills that they have learned and publicly available data sets in their area of interest, with an outcome of research, presentation, and or publication. Let me say that this phase of the program is only available for selected participants on a first come, first served basis, as we have space for only 30 participants for this cohort. For this program, for this phase 1, the registration we got is about 200 participants. All right, and of course, many of them are on the WhatsApp or Telegram page. We'll be sharing the video for those who are not live on this session to catch up and to go through those phase 1 free introductory training. But let me state that it's better individuals begin to quickly show their interest and book their slot on that final phase 3 cohort. It's a 4-month-long research mentoring session, and the expectation is that it results in research presentation and publication of a project that you carry out by yourself. The cost of the entire session goes for 120,000 naira, or let me say $100. Okay, so for participants who already commit to booking their spot on the 30 participant cohort phase 3, they don't have to pay for phase 2. Phase 2 is already embedded. All right. And for individuals who possibly initially wanted to taste the phase 2 and then wants to now proceed to phase 3, then they will have to pay certain amounts afterwards. But I can bet you it's better you just book your space right away because of the limited number of spots on that phase 3. So the links for the payment are available, and we'll begin to share them on the group page, whether you want to just simply pay for phase 2 or you want to even go ahead and pay the entire fee for this training. Again, I will state this program is worth $750 on our OmicsLogic platform. If you want us to prove that, we'll simply go there, copy the link to join a research fellowship and share with you for you to see the cost. All right, but of course, we have to make it a parity payment system for Africans, understanding our own economic environment here. So I'll encourage you quickly take advantage of this, because next cohort might just be more than this. Now, before I move on, I'm actually ending the presentation. This is my last slide. At this point, I want to take questions. Okay, let me state that there's instrumental payment for those booking there or participating in the phase 3, and it's a maximum of 3 installments. All right, where if you are registering today, you pay the first installment. That will be, let me say, 40,000 naira. Immediately after that, you move on to pay the next installment 30 days exactly afterwards. That will be another 40,000 naira, and exactly at the end of 60 days, you're expected to pay the third balance of 40,000 naira. So this is just simply designed to make it convenient for our participants. Equally, if it is USD, you'll be paying 35. All right. So at this point, I want to take questions, and then we can call it a wrap on this opening live session. Sorry for taking our time, but I hope it has worth our time. Thank you.
All right. I can see Elojo Ahuve's hand raised. Are you here? Can
Yes,
you
I am.
mute yourself? Yeah,
Yes.
please.
Right. Thank you. Just 2 questions, please. I wanted to find out, because I think when the last facilitator was speaking, he mentioned something about a participant URL. I wanted to know where to copy that, please. And then the second thing I wanted to ask is, this particular course, is it going to be available for only 1 week, or do we have like a longer access to it? Thank you.
All right, thank you for that question. So regarding the first question, so to access your participant URL, or what we call profile URL, all you need to do is to log into, if you have not registered, you have to register. And if you have already registered, simply logging into your learning platform account on the OmicsLogic.com. And after logging in, at the upper menu bar, you will see your email address there. Okay, click on that email address. That takes you to your personal profile page, where you get to see your performance, courses you took, points you earned. Ordinarily, that is what you see. And where you want to, for the first time, if that is your first time, edit your profile to add your avatar picture, to add your social media link and all of that, you're going to see a button there, edit profile. When you click on that, then you have access to editing that. You can upload your picture, you can add those various links we asked for, and then you can save it, and you can also earn points on the platform. So we expect participants to complete their profile. Now, to your question very much specifically, so when you're on your profile page, the URL in your browser is your personal participant URL or profile URL. All you need to do is just simply click on that, copy that, and then add that to your activity tracker. And one of the advantage also is at any time for you as an individual, when you want to go straight to your profile page to see anything, you can just simply click or visit that link. It takes you directly to your profile page. But like I said, it has to be you, your account, since you are logged in. Okay, if you try to visit that link on a new system, just as I was trying to do earlier on, it will ask you to first log in, and immediately logging in, it takes you back to that page. So it's a page peculiar to each participant. I will ask Catherine, please. I will appreciate if you can copy some of these links also and paste on the Google Meet chat. Thank you very much. All right, so additional questions will be welcome at this point. Okay, yes, regarding the availability, please, availability. So yes, these courses are available for this 1 week. Let me state that, yes, you have signed up, you have an account. Most of the resources on our platform are time-based. They are periodic, yes, they are time-based. I think I should put it that way. So at the period you are part of the program, you have access to these resources. Well, I usually advise at times, you can download some of the videos you see on those pages for you to possibly have deeper, one-on-one time with them afterwards. Nonetheless, that's not to preclude the fact that they are copyrighted materials. But then for participants, we allow that, or possibly even maybe highlight some text to copy for revisit to your Word document. But of course, I'm sure you know that won't be as convenient as necessary. So there are some form of subscription down the line, where participant gets to have access to content continually in their accounts forever. And then, that comes, of course, at, for those subscribing for those programs, okay? But then after any particular program, access to certain resources such as the Bioinfo server will cease. So you no longer have that to run a pipeline or what have you. So most of these resources are time-based. So we encourage participants to just simply go through them. And I can tell you, some of those lessons within 30, 40 minutes, you are done for the whole day. All right. And we have the whole of the 24 hours to engage with them and learn from them. Thank you. Any other question, please?
There's a question coming from Aline. Aline, are you here? Can you unmute yourself? Yes, Alameen, your hand is raised up.
Hello.
Yes, now we can hear you. Yeah.
Hello. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. Although we came late, so we missed a lot. I just want to ask whether we can have the record of this presentation at the end of it.
All right. I'm not hearing you at the moment.
So
Hello?
he wants to know if there is a recording. Yes.
Yes, there is a recording. As soon as we process it, we will be adding it to our YouTube page and then share the link with all participants on the group page. Thank you.
All right. In the absence of more questions, I think Alamin's question seems to be like the last. In the absence of more questions, I think I would love to ask one or two persons to give, to share what their experience looks like and usher us into today's task. So I want 2 or 3 persons to raise their hand and tell us what do you think of the seminar? Do you think you're ready to take up this challenge? So that's the question I would be asking now. Do we have anyone that would love to speak to that?
All right, quick one, Dr. Ayanfeoluwa. While we are expecting 1 or 2 persons to please speak on their experience on this training, on this live session, and then we'll possibly just take a photo shoot asking participants to, open their cameras. But quick one, I want to go live and just simply show us the page on how to access our profile page. I've just logged in now. Okay, so earlier on I mentioned you either see your email here, okay, for you to be able to visit your profile page. Alternatively, you can click on your name here. Excuse me. You can click on your name for you to go to that page. Let me do that. Alternatively, also, you can come here, and here you can click on dashboard. Okay, I've also, let me also open that. So all of them leads to your personal profile page. Of course, other things on the page are various courses. Like I said, some of them, as good as they look, they are not available on this program. And that is why we are sharing specifically the lessons and the courses that are available. The links are on the Google Doc curriculum. But back to this. So this is my profile page. I've added my image. To edit it, all I need to do is to just click on this, and you can say profile completion 100%. Okay.
Sorry,
you take,
I'm not able to see those pages. You need to share those pages so that we can see those pages. We are not able to see those pages. Yeah, you need to share those pages so that we can see those pages.
Perhaps this time around, let me try to share the entire window. Let me try to share the entire window so that, yes. So please confirm you can see my screen now.
Yeah.
So this is the page I was speaking to. Okay, I tried to open it in from 3 different spaces. They are the same. Okay, they are all the same, leading to the same profile page. So when you're on the profile page, you will see a button like this. When you click on it, then you can edit or add or update your details. My full name the way I want it on my certificate. A brief bio about myself. This is my Instagram link, URL, personal Facebook URL, my ORCID ID. This is my Twitter page, and this is Twitter or X now, and this is my LinkedIn, page also. So you copy them, you paste them, you select file, you upload your image, and you click on update. I've not made any changes here now, so that's why the update button is not active. So let me click on cancel. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to see this as a full green profile completion 100%. Okay. And then again, courses I'm taking, I can navigate to it there. I'm currently seeing my activity. The last date I visited this platform to take a course or earn any point will be there. Courses I'm currently taking or that I've taken previously, projects that I've participated in, programs I'm currently on. Okay, we talked about there are different forms besides workshops and all of that. We have programs that are also running that person can join. That was what I was saying the right time. For people who are part of programs, they most likely have continued, or let me say forever, access to those lessons or courses under that program. Only that they might not have access to the pipelines and all of that to run those programs after that time. And of course, certificates you have previously earned will all be in your profile page, just like this. Okay, so now the last thing I want to show you, this is my personal URL page. This is the URL after visiting my page. So you click here, you copy it, and you can take it elsewhere. I can as well paste it here to go to that page. It will load directly my page since I have been logged in this browser. If I should paste this or maybe Explorer or Opera now, it will ask me to log in before I can, land on that page. So that way, your profile page is quite secured and personalized to you. Okay, so that will be that. Dr. Ayanfe, over to you.
Thank you so much for this demonstration and illustration again. I believe that most have been able to understand more and a lot of things are clearer. All right, so real quick, I was going to call on us. Your screen is still being shared, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to call on us so that we can share what our experience was like today. What is one takeaway for you? What is one challenge you would love to take on, and so on. So I want like three persons to speak before. If you have a question, of course, you can also ask. So I will want like 2-3 persons to speak, and on that note, we can say goodbye for us to communicate again very soon. So anyone, what challenge are you taking for yourself, or would you prefer I call names? All right, so let us do that then. Let me just call names. So let me call on Mojisola Owoseni. Are you here? Hello, Mojisola Owoseni, are you here? Can you unmute yourself? All right, seems like she's not here. Okay, let me call on someone else again. Okay, hello, Joe. Yeah, please, can you speak?
Oh, yes, thank you. So I'd say for me, the presentation has been really enlightening because I've been able to learn about the different ways we can apply bioinformatics. So that was really, really good. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for sharing on that takeaway for yourself. Okay, let me call on Usman Babaisa. Are you here? Yeah, can you share what takeaway or challenge you would love to take on? Ed, Usman Babaisa, are you here? Can you hear me? I think we can't hear you. I think we can't hear you, but we can see you, but we can't hear you. Okay, Usman, please can you write your comments in the chat so that we can hear you? Yeah, can we write? I mean, can you write your comment in the chat so that we can hear you? Okay, I mean, so that we can read that. Okay. Yeah, I think your internet is not really too strong. All right, thank you so much. Yeah, let me call on Peter.
Okay, sorry. Can you confirm my audio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you very clearly.
Yeah. Sorry. One major take home I would say I got from today's presentation is that I think there is a lacuna, so to say. Just as we researchers, we are always on the lookout for lacuna in research where we can delve into. So I think there is a big lacuna in Africa, genomics. Just as you said that you mentioned about the students asking for wanted to go into bioinformatics in terms of what's this disease you mentioned? Uh,
Epilepsy.
Good epilepsy. So I think there is a big area for we researchers to go into. So in terms of getting genomic data on various aspects, and getting the accompanying information with such data. So I think it's an area that scientists need to look into seriously, and I think write up proposals to harvest a lot of genomic data, be it from humans in Africa, from animals, from organisms, and all whatnots, and be able to associate such data with other accompanying data, which will make it or the further make sense. By other data, I mean, like what, maybe sex, location. There's a name for all those things. I've forgotten the actual word.
Yeah, like the metadata.
Good. So such things. So I think from this seminar, I realized that it's a big area which one can write grants on, and hopefully one can get, because the world needs to get this information to advance. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter, for that. Very, very insightful and correct that you have pointed that out. So just like the example Dr. Ayanfe shared earlier on, the bottom line was this person was quite, innovative and brought her ingenuity into her research for wanting to, carry out a bioinformatics analysis to understand the genes that were present in epilepsy in Africa, right? So apparently she wasn't sequencing her own data, but unfortunately, despite that she wanted to use genomics to understand and profile some or throw some insight into this data set, should they be available. Unfortunately, we never got to find one. Okay, and like you said rightly, so these are some of the things when more and more Africans, pick up these keys, and then they can now write grants and all of that. Yes, apparently some of this work might have been done in time past, maybe in China, in America, and the rest. But I'm sure, relevant bodies will still want to pay attention that, okay, so now you want to also, do this kind of research, sequencing samples from African participants, and then get to analyze them to see what genes, were they the same as what is present in the Caucasians or in the, Aboriginals and the rest, other Asian, race. So that is very true. And that is one of the opportunities that abounds when we have a good grasp of, what we are talking about with respect to bioinformatics. And I will just add to that comment or that example shared by Dr. Ayanfeoluwa by saying that, so a wonderful research outlay, research questions and the rest, but unfortunately we couldn't get data since we can't sequence our own. That will help this undergraduate, and I'm sure you know at that stage, it will cost her a lot to want to sequence those data set herself. All right. And so we ended up using another, population, but we still did that work. That work was still done by that student. And in fact, at some point, based on even the findings, we discovered there were genes in the population she chose that were different from the other populations, such as the China that has published already by even initial publishers. Okay, and I can bet you, apparently, I'm sure, by the time we look at the same epilepsy among Africans, there are higher chances it will be very different also. Okay, and that we might even be seeing some other variant of this same disease, or why it is common or why it is not common, or why the clinical presentation of this disease in Africa is different from in Caucasians or in the white population, in the Asian population. I'm sure you can see a whole lot that can come out, from such studies. So very true, as you said. Nonetheless, let me end by saying more and more data sets are also coming up on our continent. Incidentally, Africa has been, said to be the most widely varied genomic, genetically diverse population. Okay, so meaning there are lots that can be learned from the African population compared to even other systems. But let me say thanks to the COVID era, the pandemic, which has made many of our institutions in the African continent to even begin to go molecular in their either diagnostics or research, outlay. So I believe more and more will come up. Many of these data sets will be uploaded to the data repositories for others to equally access. And who knows, maybe 2 years or 3 years from now, if we want to pick up that same work, by that time we'll have data set on epilepsy in Africa. That is not to say that we will not need much funding for such, because now the equipments are coming in, funding for these researches, reagents, and the likes will be needed. But more importantly, expertise. People who have the skill sets to carry out such research will be needed, which is why you and I, we are here, going through this learning, this training at this point in time. So thank you. That will be my comment to what Peter has just said. Over to you, Dr. Ayanfe.
All right. Do we still have any other hands, or should we just call it a day today?
We can take our group photo shots.
All right.
So maybe in the next 2 minutes.
So at this point, I want to employ us that we want to take a selfie, a group selfie, everybody. I would love to employ us to turn on our camera. I would love to employ everybody to turn on their camera. I believe everyone is here. Katrine, Solomon, Tajuddin, Waliu. Yeah, please, let us all turn on our camera so that we can just take a group selfie. All right, Gertrude, Tolua Deron, Moji, Fatima, Ahmed. Oh, this seems like he put an AI note taker here. Ogunlano Lubanke, Hassan, and our friend from Somali, Ahmed Abi. Ahmed Habi. Are you here? Can you hear me? Hassan? Okay. Let's see. I think that that except from the note taker, Aksan, Annie, can you hear me? All right.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, please, we are taking a group selfie. Please turn on your camera. Hassan, can you hear me? All right.
We might have to proceed.
All right. So I think we are going to just take the camera like that because someone just wrote that the camera is bad. So let's just take a group selfie. Okay, I'm going to take it now. All right, that's great. I believe everyone smiled. So please, we'll carry on our conversation in the chat group, and please let us engage the chat purposefully, and have a great learning season. Good afternoon, everybody, or good evening.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good evening, everyone, depending on where you are joining us from. See you at the closing session on Friday. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Thank you.